Imagine a world where every country, from superpowers like the USA and Russia to tiny island nations like Tuvalu, has its own arsenal of nuclear weapons. But how would we get here, and more importantly, what would the fallout, pun intended, be? Now grab your Geiger counter and duck into your imaginary fallout shelter. Let's explore the absurdities and grim realities of universal nuclear proliferation. Theoretically, getting every nation armed with nukes is an exercise in equal opportunity science. The internet, for all its cat videos and TikTok dances, has also democratized knowledge. Detailed information about nuclear fission is shockingly accessible, thanks, Cold War science. Combine this with the rise of 3D printing, and you could soon be printing your own uranium enrichment centrifuges like you're printing your cousin's wedding invitation. What if a rogue scientist pulls an Oppenheimer, only this time they upload their designs to the dark web? Overnight, even Liechtenstein could become a nuclear power. Imagine Monaco, a country famous for its casinos, threatening its neighbors with a mini nuke if someone parks their yacht in the wrong spot. Once the big players, USA, Russia, China, reluctantly agree to share nuclear tech to promote balance, it's only a matter of time before every nation hops on the bandwagon. Even the Maldives, with no military to speak of, start stockpiling nukes in waterproof silos. Here's where the fun begins. A fully nuclear-armed world would be equal parts comedic gold and catastrophic chaos. With everyone armed to the teeth, nations would find bizarre ways to flex their nuclear prowess. The UN might host the first-ever nuclear Olympics. Forget trade wars, every disagreement will turn into a high-stakes standoff. Now, let's get serious, briefly, and talk about how we got here. Nuclear proliferation refers to the spread of nuclear weapons and technology. Since the 1940s, global powers have worked to limit this through treaties like the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, which was signed in 1968, it aimed to prevent the spread of nukes. Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, CTBT, which prohibits nuclear explosions, though not all nations have ratified it. As of 2024, 9 countries officially have nuclear weapons. The USA, Russia, China, France, UK, India, Pakistan, North Korea, and Israel. Now imagine multiplying this number by nearly 20, because there are 195 countries on Earth. It's a logistical and ethical nightmare. So what would be the consequences of a fully nuclear-armed world? First, if all over Earth would become superior, as it would be called as nuclear planet, and probably alien planets would be in fear of our collective nuclear arsenal. Secondly, global tension will hit record highs. Diplomacy would be reduced to threats. The phrase mutually assured destruction, MAD, becomes literal, with every argument over fishing rights or trade routes escalating into nuclear brinkmanship. Also, there would be an increased risk of accidents. History shows us that even seasoned nuclear powers make mistakes. In 1980, a simple dropped wrench in an Arkansas missile silo nearly caused a nuclear detonation. Now imagine handing similar technology to countries with fewer resources for maintenance. And ultimately, there would be an environmental fallout. A single nuclear explosion has devastating environmental consequences. Multiply that by hundreds, and you've got global warming on steroids. Crops failing due to nuclear winter. Mutated squirrels that are way too buff. Bhutan's Ministry of Happiness creates the world's first eco-friendly nuke, powered by yak dung. Switzerland's neutral stance includes nukes with a disclaimer, only to be used if someone interrupts fondue night. So how do we avoid this nightmare? Organizations like the UN and the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, need more teeth to enforce anti-proliferation agreements. A world filled with nuclear weapons needs a crash course in nuclear safety. Picture TikTok tutorials titled, "So you've built a nuke, now what?" AI could help monitor global nuclear activity, reducing human error and improving response times. Unless the AI decides to launch the nukes itself. So what the experts say? Here are some real-world figures and their interesting insights. Dr. John Smith of MIT said that if every country goes nuclear, the likelihood of accidental launches increases tenfold. Humanity's survival depends on restraint. IAEA reported in 2023 that proliferation is the single greatest threat to global peace. John Olive said that the best deterrent against nuclear war is realizing how utterly stupid it would make us look in history books. If every country becomes a nuclear power, the world won't just be chaotic, it'll be absurdly hilarious in its self-destructive tendencies. But behind the humor lies a sobering truth: the more we spread nuclear weapons, the closer we inch toward catastrophe. So let's agree to leave the nukes to the professionals and keep the DIY projects to baking sourdough bread. And if you want to know how NASA found carbon dioxide on Pluto's largest moon, find out with this video.